Right.
Recording?
Yep.
Alright, and welcome to FRACKiT, WolfVS
KiraMK2.
episode 3, and today we're talking about Final Fantasy, but with special regard to Dissidia. Recently you've been playing Dissidia quite a lot, and you've played a couple of Final Fantasies, so
Yep.
take it from there.
Dissidia, it's a collaboration basically of Final Fantasy 1 through 10. And it's basically, as with most stories, two sides to it. You've got the good guys and the bad guys, and your good guys are like Cloud and Squall and Terra and Unite and Warrior of Light and yada yada, who are fighting for Cosmos. And then you've got like X-Death, the Emperor, Cloud of Darkness, and other such characters from Final Fantasy 1 through to 10 that are fighting on behalf of Chaos. And I've only just recently, I will say, nearly finished the game, but you're going along and you've got to play through each character on Cosmos' side to gain a crystal, like you do in the Final Fantasies anyway.
In the early Final Fantasies anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so you got to do that, and after you've done that, it's after you've done the first one, you get like the final battle thing, but it just seemed pointless that you got the final battle after collecting one crystal. So me being me, I went through, played all 10 characters, and then went on to do the final battle bits. And thinking about it, I liked it. I liked the gameplay. I liked the way the story wasn't like dead straight for every single character. It had twists and turns, like for what the bleeding on. It's either Bart's or Zidane, whose dad's Yekt. Tidus, that's it. His dad's Yekt, and yeah, like I say, the story seemed like Tidus was going after his dad for vengeance, and then when eventually he had the first chance to get his vengeance, he was like, I can't fight it like this because you're injured and whatnot. And then it leads on a bit further from that, and you're playing along and you get to fight him again when he's like full health and all this shit, and you do it, and you get your crystal, and it's the same for each of the 10 characters. And it turns out that each crystal is actually like a part of Cosmos, and Cosmos and Chaos are actually working together as like a syndicate to try and sort of like harmonise the world. And Cosmos dies because she's split herself into like 10 things and she dies basically, and Chaos then thinks that he can become like the supreme ruler of the world, but the Emperor is sort of the dark horse, because he decides that he wants to be the supreme ruler of the world, and he's talking in the cutscenes about like overthrowing Chaos and taking the ruling for himself and using the crystals for evil. So that's a basic and really sketchy overview of the game, but time for a bit of Q&A, I think.
Alright, well, I'll just straighten some of this up. With Dissidia, the cool thing about it is the game, the story bit that takes place is actually the 13th cycle,
right,
as they call them, and there's been 12 cycles previous where all these warriors are born. So before this one, where there's 10 on each side,
yeah,
there's hundreds in the first one.
Yeah.
So they die off, they get killed, they switch sides, and then you're down to the final 10 on 10. In essence, trying to restore balance to the universe. Chaos wants to do it one way, Cosmos wants to do it the other.
Yeah.
And with each character, obviously, you can go through each of the 10 characters, and then I can't remember what it's called, but the final bit of the game where you've got the 5 stages and the final boss.
Yeah.
But with Dissidia, the one thing that really interested me is the next game. The one is a prequel, Dodecum 12.
Yeah.
And you just said there with Tidus, trying to save his dad, and after vengeance and then all that. The cool thing about the game previous to it is that Cloud, Tidus, I can't remember who else, they're on the enemy's side. They're on Chaos's forces.
Right.
And Jet is on the hero forces.
Right.
So the problem I have with Dissidia at times is they didn't really tell about all these previous cycles, what happened, what came where. But the one thing they do get through is that each of these characters isn't the character you find at the end of each game. So Squall isn't, well, Squall is, but Tidus isn't the Tidus from the end of Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
He's definitely the Tidus from midpoint or the start, because obviously he doesn't know everything about Jet.
Yeah.
And all that. I just like the fact that they picked them out of time from random policing at different parts of the character development to actually fight. Now, with Dissidia, obviously you got the insane storyline. The combat is... it's quite deep for just...
yeah.
You know, it's not exactly a huge gaming title. Not many action game or fighting game people will buy it.
Yeah.
But it is very deep, because we've been talking about this. When I play as Squall, because he's a very much mid-range, close quarters fighter. Can't really do much at a distance, and that's my huge weakness, is the fact that Squall's main enemy, Ultimecia, is a distance fighter.
Yeah.
And you find that a lot with the characters, that there are opposite ends. Like, you have Cloud's kind of the... what do you say it? The noob character, the starting character, the really easy one to use. But you go to Sephiroth, and he's kind of similar, but he can literally hit an attack from any fucking distance.
Yeah.
So Cloud can't beat him.
Yeah.
And you just go to each character, and they're so different. It's like the good versus the evil.
Yeah.
They're just complete opposites at times.
Yeah, it's like doppelgangers to each one. But yeah, you're talking about what was you were saying that you liked as a character. Well, personally, me, I played with both on the arcade and the quick battle, and then on through the final part of the story mode as Cecil, whose enemy is
it Exdeath, Cecil, or
is it Exdeath, or is it Garland?
No, it's not Garland. Garland's the first one. Garland's FF1.
Yeah, yeah. It might be Exdeath then. But anyway, so like you say, both with Cecil, I chose him because, like you say, he's a mid-range and close combat, but also because of the fact that he can switch between being a Dark Knight and a Paladin or Paladin. It seemed really intriguing, just because I thought it'd be, you know, you choose which one you want to be, not like mid-fight. If you're in air, you turn into a Paladin. If you're on the ground, you're a Dark Knight. But I liked that. I liked the way that his story goes as well. And one of my favourite moves that he actually does is one of the base moves that you get when you start with him, which is... no, it's not. It's a development from Saint's Fall, which is the first move you get with him to use as a Paladin. But then you've got Paladin Force, which is like twice as effective in air. And nearly every hit you can get like, it's like 2,000 damage, something mental like that. Anyway, so Cecil's my favourite character.
I think it's Cecil's FF4, if I've got that right.
Yes, it is.
FF4.
Yeah.
And Cecil's, with me, I played through quite a few of them and didn't really play as Cloud too much. Started as him, he was just too easy really. He's too easy to get all the basics with, even when you max him out. He's a very easy character to fight with. On the hero side, it was always Squall. But then, because obviously I'd never really experienced long range, I went to Terra, who is fucking awesome at long range attacks. She's a very cool character.
She's a good character to play as with long attacks, but it's just she's too based around magic for me, which is something I don't particularly.
And technically, until 13, she was the strongest character in the FF continuum.
Right. Well, like I say, just because she's based around magic, sort of like was a turn off for me. I wanted something like that was a combination of both weaponry and magic, which is why again Cecil tickle me pickle, shall we say. But out of Dissidia, who's your favourite character for Cosmos?
Cosmos would be Squall, it has to be.
What about Chaos?
That's a fucking hard one, because there are quite a few really, really good ones.
Same with me.
Right, obviously I could say I like Ultimisia. Obviously, she's Squall's main enemy.
Yeah.
And she's a fucking bitch to fight.
Yeah.
I do like her, but I also like I like the way Sephiroth's portrayed in it. It's different to the way he is in other games, like the mastermind. You know, he's always plotting everything.
Yeah.
In Dissidia, he's portrayed a lot more like, what should I do now? He seems very bored and doesn't really know what he's doing. He's just doing it
because he's been told to.
And he wants to see what's going to happen. It's like, I'll just do that. He doesn't seem as in control, and it's a much better slant on the character as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd probably say between Ultimisia and Sephiroth.
Yeah. I'd go with Sephiroth as well, because I do like you say, his fighting style. You can hit anything from virtually any distance. I would say as well, even though he's really fucking clunky, and I think I'm getting it right, Garland, who's got the multiform blade.
Sword,
I like playing as him just because his sword like completely kicks ass, but because he's that slow and clunky, you'd think it gives you a disadvantage, but it actually doesn't, because the way that he dodges is like really quick and shit. So you can get out of attack and then like do a counter attack really quick. So like I say, it's toss up between Sephiroth and Garland for me.
With all the the one thing I really do want to play the sequel to it for one reason. They had a few they don't add as many as I thought they would, because in a sequel I thought they'd add, there was 10 in this one on each side. I thought they'd add 10 more, and there's plenty of characters you can add into it, but they only ended up adding like 7 or 8 characters. They added Lightning from 13, which as you can tell by the box, she's the focus of it, and I've had my little rant about Lightning before, and it's like, she's the head, but you also have Tifa added into it. You have Zack, and I'm trying to think of something. Kane's in it from Final Fantasy 4. And you had all these different characters in it. And part of me is like, why the fuck don't I just add shit tons of them? Because one thing about Final Fantasy 6 is Terra was the hero representing it, but what about what was his name now? I can't remember his name. Was it Locke? No, it wasn't Locke. Well, the hero from Final Fantasy 6, the dude, I can't remember his name, but he wasn't picked. Terra was picked, but it's him who you play as all the time. Right.
And as you can probably guess, I've not played most of the Final Fantasies, let's say through 1 to 13. I've had a basher. I think it was 10 on the PS2. I cannot remember exactly.
It would have been 10 or 12 on the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 10. I've had a go at 13 and I weren't a major fan of it.
A lot of people are.
I don't know what it was just something about it. It didn't seem right for Final Fantasy.
13 is... Well, let's go into it. Well, with 13, 12 was the biggest turn off for me, because it was too easy. And then we got to 13 and it's very linear. The combat doesn't open up straight away. Like usual Final Fantasies, you'll have half an hour to an hour of, get into the game. And then they basically give you all the customization options, all the battle options, so you can do what you want. But with 13, your combat didn't really open out literally until 10 hours into the game.
Right.
Because as you level up, you get more abilities, as you always do. But at certain points, it's restricted, so you get to... They're not levels in 13, it's called the Crystallarium. And you have different levels of this Crystallarium. And you can max it out, but you have to get to a certain point in the story before the next level becomes available. So you can max out a shit ton, and then it's like, I can't do anything, I'm stuck at this power level for now. And then you have to keep doing it, so it's kind of strange that way. But I enjoyed the story. I'm not sure if you watched the gaming one with me and Retalisk, but I had a rant about 13 anyway. Because I do love the game, but Lightning, who has been forced down everyone's throats as the female version of Cloud, basically. That's what they want. They wanted a girl version of Cloud. And she's not the hero of the game, even though she's on the cover of the box. She's got her own game coming out, and they're like, she's the hero. But when you play it, I challenge anyone to play it and say that she is the main hero, because she isn't. It's 2 of the other characters. It's Fang and Vanille. And going back to Dissidia, Lightning does fuck all in 13, really. She doesn't add anything to the plot. So wouldn't you have picked Fang like they did with Terra? Terra was the main one in 6, so you pick Terra. in 13, why didn't they just pick Fang? It would have made a lot more sense than picking Lightning.
Yeah.
For Dissidia 12 anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a shit ton of Final Fantasies, and I've played. The only one I haven't played out the main series is 3, because I've played the original version, and it's insane. One thing Dissidia does right is it appeals to every fan.
Yeah.
It gets at least one thing from each game right, which is really cool.
Yeah.
The soundtrack is fucking awesome.
Brilliant. I'll admit the song at the end of when you fight in Chaos, I don't know what it's called, but it sounds really good. I really like it.
I've got it. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, it's that the messenger standing at the gates. That's the first lyric. I'm
sat like with it on my PSP, and I'm just, oh, this song sounds pretty good. Headphones in, volume up, full back. My mum's shouting at me. I'm like, yeah, what, yeah. But it's just one of them games that you can like melt into. It's really, really good.
The level of depth, well, you can buy new songs for the soundtrack on it, and the level of detail with it with Final Fantasy VIII, obviously you've got Libre Fatale, which is the main song.
Yeah.
And then you have like little daft ones, like you have the battle theme music from it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a nice touch. You had the battle theme from each game.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane. And obviously, we have another remix version of One Winged Angel.
Yeah. Yeah, like you say, going back to the Final Fantasy as a series, I've played, and I know you're not really a fan of this, I've played 3 on the DS.
Well, I'm not really a fan, I just haven't. You know, I want to play the original, I don't want to play a remake.
The remake. Which is the reason that I ended up buying the DS version, because I, as well, was looking for an original version. And I found the DS version, thinking, oh, it'll be like the original, for like £8 from fucking Game or somewhere like that. And I picked it up. I'm not kidding you. I played it for about a year and a half and not finished it, because it's that, I won't say hard, but it's that stupid. Because you're going around and you level up and you level up and you level up and you've got to fight fucking certain things, and you. Say for example you're at a level 26 monk, and you've got to fight this fucking boss turtle thing, and I know there's a boss turtle thing because that's one that I'm fucking stuck on.
Adamantoise, it would probably
yeah.
be.
Yeah, it is an Adamantoise, yeah. And you're fighting it, and you can knock it down to about 100 HP, and it'll just turn around, it'll just do like one attack on you, and it just completely wipes out your whole party. And you're like, what the fuck? Even on like when I've been on Google and I've looked at cheats and walkthroughs and shit like that, and it seems to be that everyone that's played it has struggled with this one bit. So I've just given up on it, but I don't like giving up on games. I don't like them, let's say, getting the better of me, because in the end it's just a fucking game, for crying out Mary. But it's just annoying that, you know, you're stuck on one bit and you can't get past it.
That's the main thing with Final Fantasy, especially the early ones, is the difficulty.
Yeah.
Because I've spent many hours grinding me characters. I'll give you an example of Final Fantasy VIII now. Because I've played it so many times, whenever I go on it, I know how strong I need to be by the end of this one.
Yeah.
So before I've even started the main game, before you even get off the first, you live on an island. You're on an island in a school.
Yeah.
Before I even get off the island, I'm level 20.
Right.
And you start out at level 6 or 7. So I grind to level 20, get to level 30 at least by the end of the disc. And I've done it plenty of times where I'm level 50, 60 on disc 2.
Yeah.
Because you need to do it's progressive resistance. You have to make sure you're strong enough for certain bosses.
Yeah.
But with the early Final Fantasies, I'm surprised the remake had it, to be perfectly honest, because the newer games are quite a bit easier.
Yeah.
With 1 and 2 on the PSP, I can clear them in 2 days, both of them easily. But a good section of those 2 days will be leveling the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because there's no forgiveness on it.
Yeah.
It'll just kill you. If you're not strong enough to beat a boss, it'll just kill you.
Yeah. I think that's one of the problems that I didn't anticipate on the final bit of Dissidia, because when I finally reached the part where you fight in the it's called them ghost versions of Cosmos and Chaos characters, I was like a level 48, and I'm going through and I'm thinking, oh, you know, they'll just be like matched to my level, and they're not like level 56, 65s and shit like that. And I'm like, right, okay, it's time to go back and do a bit of grinding on, like, say, the arcade mode or quick battles. And after about 4 or 5 hours of obviously playing as Cecil, I managed to get him up to a level 55, and I took on, it must have been XDef, because XDef's like the final one that I fought before Cosmos, who's Cecil's doppelganger. Took on XDef, who's a level 65, and I was a level 55. Beat him after retrying like 3 times, and I leveled up like 4 or 5 levels. So then obviously I've gone on and I'm fighting again on the last, what I think is the last level. I'm fighting these ghost versions of Cosmos and Chaos Warriors, and I've eventually reached, like I say, level 56, and now fighting Chaos, and it's an absolute bastard because it's misleading when you're fighting Chaos and the ghost versions of Cosmos and Chaos Warriors, because with the Cosmos and Chaos Warriors you fight them once, you kick their ass, that's it, done, which I expected when I was fighting Chaos. But it turns out that you kick his ass once and he revives himself somehow. You kick his ass again and he revives himself for a 3rd time. Now whether after you kick his ass for a 3rd time he revives again, I'm not sure, because I've not got that far yet.
It is the old Final Fantasy trope. It's kind of a nod to every last battle in every Final Fantasy, because they usually take part in 3 stages.
Right.
That's why they've done it. It's a nice little nod to all the other Final Fantasies, because with Sephiroth you have the first fight, which is, I think it's Bizarro Sephiroth.
Yeah.
Then Safe Sephiroth. Then just Sephiroth.
Right.
One after the other.
Yeah.
And it's the same with every other game, except for Ultimisia, she has 4, and that's what the hardest boss battles like on Final Fantasy. But it's just that thing. 3-part boss battles. It's a trope of Final Fantasies.
Well, it's good to know that there's only 3 fights that I've got to do then, so I'll crack that tonight and get it done.
And after that, you unlock the mode. It's kind of a weird wandering mode. There's not much. It's just basically going through it and fighting.
Right.
And you can play as either a Chaos Warrior or a...
Right.
So you can play Sephiroth and level up through this. I can't really remember it too much.
Yeah.
But once you finish it, you get a Final Fantasy 12 character who isn't so good.
Alright.
Yep. So, any other thoughts on Dissidia?
I've got one problem with it.
Yeah.
Which is the cutscenes. Now, understandably, it's going to be a small game because it's on UMD.
Yep.
But the animation of the mouth moving, it's just literally like open, close, open, close, open, close. And I only realised it like halfway through the game, and ever since it's pissed me off. Because, obviously, now, Square Enix, which have become Crystal Dynamics, I think.
Crystal Dynamics is a, what's it called? An offshoot. That Square Enix owns Crystal Dynamics.
Alright, well, is it Crystal Dynamics?
Yeah, that's one that does Tomb Raider, isn't it? Crystal Dynamics.
Yeah, Crystal Dynamics are the ones that are working on Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
But
it's another it's a production company within Square.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's Crystal Dynamics that have been working on Final Fantasy, that works on 13. But you know, they've been around for fucking years. They've produced some brilliant games. They've obviously got you know, animators and shit like that, graphics designers. How hard would it be just to, you know, condense down a little bit of actual mouth syncing, lip syncing to the voice? I mean, it's not taking that much time, that much space out on a bloody disc just to do it.
I think the opening and ending cutscenes take the most fucking amount of it.
Oh yeah, the opening cutscene is, oh Jesus Christ, trying to remember it now.
Yeah, it's where the Chaos Warriors and all the heroes have that massive fight.
Yeah, it is.
And you see a very nice sight and a very nice little nod to the fans in that is Sephiroth and Squall face off and they were even.
Yeah.
Which was a nice little thing. Cloud was never a match for Sephiroth in sword fighting, ever.
Yeah.
He wasn't. And the fact that they let Squall be on that pedestal, because he was the master of fucking dueling anyway. It was nice to see them have a little fight. Well, it's a really nice little scene where you just cut and you see the war happening, going around.
Another thing that I won't say I don't particularly like, it's just slightly annoying about Dissidia, is the second like set of maps that you get, where it like changes around, and this is only after you've when you've started the like final mission, as it's called. It's just really stupid the way that the map can change. I mean, the Pandemonium one, which is the pink walls one and whatnot.
Oh, I know what you mean, when the maps start going mental.
I don't mind the Pandemonium one, because obviously you can play it to your advantages. But it's the lunar subterranean one, and
the one I love is the inside of the Earth.
Yeah.
The one with all the green energy, the macro energy. I like that one simply because if you're fighting a sword fighter anyway, it's really cool fighting in that environment, but it gets annoying when you're fighting mages, especially. Because you can't see the attacks coming. You just get absolutely destroyed from all angles, I remember that.
Yeah. I like... Okay, talking about maps, your best map then?
Ultimisia's Castle. Nice, small, and I can get in close quarters with people. Worst map is what's the castle called? You got the big castle around.
Oh, fuck.
I fucking hate that one.
Can't remember what it's called, but I don't like that one either.
That one is too open, and every time you fall into the it's like an ocean really. You fall into it and you lose your bravery points.
Yeah.
Like, fucking get out, and then you respawn and you got half your points. Like, nah, I like something nice and small so I can get up close with people.
I like personally called Day's End or something, the one with Jack's blade and
that's a Dream's End.
A Dream's End, yeah, not a Day's End. I like that one simply for the fact that it's open, but it's not too open. Excuse me. So you've got like a chance to retreat, get your bravery points back up. Gives you a chance to hunt around, gather EXP that's hanging about or whatever. But I also like is it Order of the Emptiness one, where it's just like a load of columns like on a stage.
That's like the generic first one, isn't it?
It must be the Order of Emptiness. I like that one because, again, something I didn't realise until later on in the game, if you destroy things within the map, you can actually earn more bravery points.
As well as sliding on those pretty cool blue rails.
Oh yeah, they're really cool. I use
Problem
them.
with fighting as Terra, you don't need to because you can fly.
Yeah. No, but when you're playing as like Cecil, if you're on them, if you can, before you get on it, you turn yourself into the Paladin, start on it, and whoever you're fighting against is like underneath you or following. You just do like a simple dodge over them, and then use like the Saints Fall or the Paladin Force on them. And like you say, it's just a complete wipeout when you do it.
Yeah, there's a very similar move with Squall. You slide down it, and you just use his basic, one of his basic moves, the Renazukian.
Yeah.
You just use that, and it's a fucking awesome little punch to it.
Yeah.
Alright, I've got a question for you then.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favourite EX mode? Because for those of you that don't know, characters in FF have kind of like a ultimate weapon or let's say a limit breaker.
Yeah.
And they go into a special transformation. It's either you get a new weapon or your character completely changes depending on which character you fight as. And they all are very different ones. The enemies probably have better ones because they have literal transformations.
Yeah. Well, there's the Yax Blade, there's
with most of the heroes, they just change to their ultimate weapon. Like with Squall, he gets the Lionheart. Cloud gets the ultimate weapon, as it's called.
Yeah. Yeah, this Yax Blade, Triumphant Grasp, and some else I can't remember. But I like the. You're a bastard! I hate you.
Why do you think I'm the host?
I like Triumphant Grasp because it's it's a serious damaging combo.
Not just the combo, just the transformation. The
oh,
EX.
right. Well, it's gonna be the Triumphant Grasp then, because the X Blade is just gives him a sort of boost for the attack. Sorry. Whereas the Triumphant Grasp, he sort of turns into Akuma from Street Fighter. Yeah. So yeah, I like the Triumphant Grasp with Yacht.
Mine would be for the enemy side anyway. I love Sephiroth's One Winged Angel because it's so simple, but as soon as you see that wing come out, you're like, shit.
Yeah,
I'm gonna die.
That's like with Havoc Wing with Kefka. It seems to be that no matter what distance you get away from him as he's performing it, you can't get away from it. So I can't stick Havoc Wing. Unless it's me that's using it, then I'm perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, with Sephiroth you have his One Winged Angel form, obviously it boosts attack, boosts everything, as all EX modes do.
Yeah.
And then he gets access to one of the most amazing moves in the game, which is Supernova.
Yeah.
Where he fucks you in completely. That's a great move. But on the hero side, my favourite transformation is Terra's in the S-spot.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one? She turns into... It's kind of hard to explain. She kind of looks like... you know furries, don't you?
Yeah.
It kind of looks like that, but in FF, the reason she's the strongest character before 13 was she, you know, people using summoning magic. We ain't got none of that yet, summoning.
Oh no.
But she turns into a summon. She is actually a summoning creature, and when she transforms into an S-spot, a summon, she gets completely powerful. And I love that mode because her magic gets fucking hyped up.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane. But that'd be my favourite EX mode, would be Terrors. Definitely. And we seem to have stumbled on summoning, which is a great part of the game, because not only do they have in FF you can summon creatures, monsters, deities to protect you and help you out in battle in the normal FF games, but in this they have different versions of them. So you'll have the Ifrit from Final Fantasy 7, from Final Fantasy 10, from the original appearance, and they all do different things to boost your combos, which is fucking great.
Well, it's funny you should have mentioned Ifrit, because I'm going to say straight off that is my favourite one.
Ifrit, way.
Because if you're doing shit and your bravery's not great, say you got like 100 and odd bravery and you need a 200 HP hit, Ifrit, it's called Ifrit, but it's called Hellfire.
Yeah, the technique's Hellfire, the summons Ifrit.
Right. Well, when you summon Ifrit, it basically times your bravery by 1.5.
Yeah.
So you can get, like, let's say from 150, you can get 250 bravery points, which you can then just destroy.
Or if you have 3,000, you get.
Yeah.
Quite a shit.
That's another thing that I'll go on to in a minute as well.
My favourite would have to be, I'm not sure if you got me yet, Carbuncle.
Yes.
That little creature, that little critter is amazing, especially when, say you're around, even if you're a level 20 and you're fighting a level 100, Carbuncle switches your bravery points.
Yeah.
So if someone starts with 7,000 bravery points and you're very low level, you have 200, 300, it swaps. So you can, with that, you plausibly are able to beat a level 100 with a level 4.
Yeah.
And that's why I like it. It's a really, really cool little move.
Yeah, that's similar to Mimic as well.
Yeah.
But Mimic, it just copies the bravery. And I like, although it does seem pretty pointless, the wall, is it wall of protection? Door of protection?
Yes, yeah.
Something like that. Where
it freezes your bravery.
Yeah, it freezes bravery for a certain period of time. But there's one that I can't remember who the fucking hell it was I was fighting. But they had a summon and it like tripled the bravery, and it got it so that it was like 9,999. What the fuck?
I think that's an advanced version of Ifrit, to be honest, because I know there's one that's ×1, ×3, and there's one ×3 as well, which I think is the FF10 version, but don't quote me on it.
Right.
Because usually what they do with, you have 3 different versions of the same character, they just up it each time you get a new one.
Right.
So there's 3 Shepherds, 3 Ifrits, and whatever else, but Carbuncle was definitely the best. Go on, what was you had something on your mind?
Yeah, what is your highest amount of bravery points that you've got without like cheating her out.
Without cheating?
Yeah.
I've maxed out, I've done the 999.
Oh.
Yeah, the total. I was level 100 though, I got squad at level 100.
Oh, right.
And once I was at that level, it was basically, you're always near that anyway, so if you're fighting a good enemy, you'll get it to the max level.
Right. That makes mine look shit then. Like 6,000.
You'll get there, and you remember you got to customise your armour and shit like that.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing, the Mystic Mithril thing and the Glorious Gold. When you're doing your equipment and whatnot, if you put like a Mithril axe, let's say, and a Mithril helm and a Mithril vest, my thinking was that they then become like, you know, the free out for free thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, so I'm like a bit confuzzled about what the fuck that's about.
Well, what is it? Do they have the same power up or?
More or less, it just, you know, when you're actually on your equipment and you've got like the little box underneath, or your HP and bravery and all that bollocks, it says like a little description about it, and it says Mystic Mithril, and then in brackets 1/3. So I was like, right, okay, I'll put.
I don't think you can stack. That's the one thing I don't think you can.
Right.
I think that's it. You can't stack powers. But I'm not too sure. I haven't played it in a while, so I'm not exactly sure about how the armour and shit like that works.
Yeah.
So you'd have to look that one up.
No.
But yeah, what I did with mine, I know I got to level 100 with Squall. I kicked everyone's ass as Squall.
Yeah.
And obviously one thing about Dissidia that they didn't do, which they've done in 12 a lot better, was extra content such as costumes. You only get one extra costume.
Yeah, you do. And it's not even that great. I mean, Cecil's, your starting costume with Cecil is, as the Dark Knight, is obviously black outfit, and it's got blue outline or lining in it. And then when you get the alternate look, it's just a red.
It's a palette change.
Yeah.
There's a couple that are just palette changes on it. You get some, like, Cloud gets his Final Fantasy Advent Children look.
Yeah.
Squall gets his, Final Fantasy 8, he gets his military uniform.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them get different costumes, but yeah, some are just palette changes.
Right.
Like with Terra, it's got the blue look.
Yeah.
The greenish blue goes red. But with the sequel to it, you get like 5 or 6 costumes each.
Yeah.
Which is really fucking awesome for some characters.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was the only thing that really got me. There's so many different costumes. I understand in the early ones if they haven't got many.
Yeah.
But there's artwork and shit like that. I never see the point of palette changing, just changing the colours or something.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. Because like you say, like I was saying before, even though it's a bloody UMD, you've got a fair whack of fucking space on
Especially if you compare it to the sequel as well.
Yeah.
Which has so much shit on it.
Right.
But yeah, with Dissidia anyway, it's a good way to get into Final Fantasy as well, I've found.
Yeah.
A good opening point for anyone who goes, oh, I like that character, I'd like to play that game, or I like that character, I'd like to play that one.
Yeah.
I'd already played them all, so it didn't have that effect for me. Does it have that effect for you?
Yeah. Because Cecil is from 4. I'd like to, have a scout around, see if I can find it.
I have
anyway.
I've got it.
And give it a crack and fucking see what it's about, see what the main story is about, because with Dissidia you get a faint hint that he's for Chaos, his brother's for Cecil's for Cosmos, his brother's for Chaos, and it seems there's like a rift between them type thing. But then this is a thing that really interested me towards the end of the story. It was a little cutscene, and I'd been skipping through the cutscenes to try and save time, but this one, made me stop. Cecil asks, it must be X-Death.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is X-Death.
Yeah, why he's like fighting for fighting for Chaos, and it goes into an explanation of why he is and so on. And this is the interesting bit. X-Death then says about if Cosmos' light shines upon him, maybe he'd join that side. And I know you said before that Yekt, later on in the series, Yekt goes on to the good side.
Previously.
Previously.
Yeah,
right.
The sequel is a prequel. 12 is the cycle that happened before, that's why there's more characters. And basically, it's a spoiler anyway, but all the characters that are added in 12 died in the previous cycle to get to Dissidia. So that one is the prequel to it, and that's where all the teams are mixed up.
Right.
And every cycle before that, like, they could easily get 12 games out of it and just throw the characters about. Yeah. But it is the fact that they were on different sides, and that's the one that shows how they got to Dissidia. So apparently it explains a bit, but I haven't played it myself because I want to play it because it's got Tifa in it. I'd like to see how a monk fights in it. That should be pretty cool.
Let's have a scout around for that.
But with FF4, I've got it. You can lend it if you want. If you've got a PlayStation that you can play on.
PlayStation
1.
Yep, I've got a PS1.
Or a PS2. Well, yeah, I'll bring it in. I'll give you that. I've got FF4.
Right.
But I've also got it on the PlayStation 3 as well.
Mm.
I don't. With the whole thing about discs, another thing that the PSN is good for is I've had these discs for quite a long time, and especially 7 and 8 ones that I've played hundreds of times over. You're gonna get scratches. So I basically bought 4 through 9 on PlayStation Network, so the digital copies. So I'm never gonna get them scratched. They're always gonna be there.
Sweet.
That's why I got them. But yeah, I've got physically. I've got 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 to. I've got 11. I've never played it. It's a 360 online game, but I bought that for some reason. I've got 12, and I've got 13 and 13-2.
Right. 13
and 13-2 are very good games.
There's supposed to be a 14 coming out.
14 is out. It's a online RPG. MMO
So it is, yeah. So it
RPG. 15 will be the next one.
Yeah.
But they've got Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns coming out, which... with that, I'm kind of like, I really like Final Fantasy 13. 13-2 was good, it really was, because Lightning wasn't in it.
Yeah.
And this one's all about Lightning, but I kind of want to see how it ends. I want to see the ending. Well, I'm just like, oh shit, I have to sit through more shit with Lightning being the main character.
Yeah. Just do you buy it, or don't you?
I'll get it, I'll play it. It's just, it's that thing, because 13-2 had a really interesting thing about it. Because time travel's featured not that much in FF, but in 8 it was a really prominent feature, and I fucking loved it. At the end, you go back in time, and time gets distorted, you don't know what the fuck's happening, and it's a real proper mindfuck. With 13-2, time travel's like a real gameplay device. You're never on one world, and you play as Lightning's sister and this other guy Noel, and you have to jump across time streams. So you go to one time, do shit there and open up another time, but you can go back, do something different and open up that same time, but all your changes are there.
Right.
It's fucking it's really expansive with the little details they're doing. Like, you'll have a world where something really terrible happens, and then the same world at the same time where it didn't happen.
Right. Wow.
It's a very good little thing.
Was that 8? Yeah.
No, that's 13-2.
Oh, 13-2.
8 goes into time at the end of it, and is a proper good mindfuck. It's really cool.
Right.
Time starts distilling, and you end up in the future, but shit from the past is getting drawn in. Like, you find your ship, the Ragnarok.
Yeah.
You find that, and it's the same ship from your time, and you can go around and piss about, or you can go straight to the last boss, depending on what you want to do.
Right.
Yeah, 8's a fucking cracking. 8's the best one for me, because I played 7, and a lot of people enjoy 7, say it's the best one ever, but 8 is a lot less convoluted.
Yeah.
And here's one thing we can go into just before we end. The innovations in Final Fantasy. I'm not sure if you know this. I went into it with Retalisk, who explained it. How many Final Fantasy have you played? Many, or...?
Only a few. Not played that
Have you
many.
played 7?
I don't think I have.
Well, 7 is like, obviously it's the gold standard, everyone loves it. But 7 is really interesting for a couple of reasons on it. And that's fine. You know, like nowadays everyone wants choices and consequences in games. They want to say, I want to do this and see what happens.
Yeah.
7 was the very earliest example of this, but it wasn't outright like, you decide the fate of everything. It was very subtle. With Cloud, you have, at the start of the game, you have Aerith and you have Tifa, and Aerith dies. That's it. She's dead.
Yeah.
And it depends how you act towards either one of those characters. If you have to be very, very, very nice to Aerith, you end up going on a date with her. But if you're nice to Tifa, you end up going on a date with Tifa.
Right.
And Aerith dies, and depending on how you do, just that tiny little bit of the game changes cutscenes, changes how the characters interact. Because if you're really nice to Tifa, it's implied that you're in love with Tifa, and all the way through the game, you know, things get a bit more romantic.
Yeah.
But if you like Aerith, and when Aerith dies, it's implied Tifa's your friend and you always loved Aerith. It's a nice little touch to it, but it does change the game.
Yeah.
As I said before, there's a massive rift between Final Fantasy gamers. Is it Aerith or Tifa who was the proper one? And it's Tifa because they released a shit ton of side titles. So I was quite happy with that. But 10 does the same thing. 10's an actual really cool in-game thing is whoever you talk to the most. Say you have Tidus, obviously.
Yep.
And if you talk to one of the characters Auron a lot, when he does his ultimate finisher, his level 4 finishing attack, he uses a ball, and whoever his friend is throws a ball to him.
Right.
But it also changes cutscenes, so before you go for the final battle, whoever's your best friend will come and see you.
Right.
And it changes depending on who it is.
That's cool.
There's these little nice features they've got to them. 8 doesn't have many of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
But 8 changes depending on how you act to people. You can be a complete dick, or you can get nicer and nicer. It's quite... FF has a lot of innovations to it, along with the best graphics.
Yeah, I'm right.
There's nothing... How can a PSP game look that good on...
I know that's one of the things that amazed me, because I was playing Grand Theft Auto to start with on the PSP, and I was like, bloody hell, graphics on this are fucking brilliant. And I went out and bought the Dissidia, and I was playing. Oh fuck me, my eyes are getting like penetrated. It was fucking brilliant, mate.
Square always prides themselves with graphics, and the one thing I loved about I remember when Mass Effect 3 was coming out, and they had that what looked like one of the most beautiful games in the world, the trailer for it.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was Sean Bean, I'm sure it fucking was.
Yeah.
But this trailer looked lifelike, it looked real.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I said, that's what the game's going to look like. Fucking didn't. No matter what EA does, no matter whatever any other company does, even though Final Fantasy is stylized to more... How do you say it, you know? It's kind of Japanese in a way, some of it, you know, the character design, stuff like that. It's stylized. It's still going to look a million times better because Square just does graphics better than anyone else.
Yeah.
Look at Final Fantasy X, it's still the best thing on the PlayStation 2. Final Fantasy 12, amazing. Final Fantasy 13, fuck me.
Nothing compares, but there could be a little bit of internal competition maybe.
Yeah. With,
like we say, the new Tomb Raider coming out, but if it was a toss-up between the graphics on Final Fantasy and what the graphics are looking like at the minute on Tomb Raider, it's going to be the Final Fantasy, because I had a look at the background art, actually doing background art for Final Fantasy before I started this, and you could look at getting paid $2,500 for one piece of background art, you know, as long as it was the dog's bollocks. And you know,
there is one thing I can tell you about this, and something you should look at. I think it's Yoshio Amino. I'm not sure if he does it anymore, but he does the character designs for Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Check out some of his artwork.
Yeah.
It is. He also does the covers for the games.
Yeah.
His artwork is beautiful.
Yeah,
it's not realistic, but
it's still
amazing.
Still good though.
Like I said, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying it's fucking amazing. Some of the artwork he comes out with.
Yep.
Yep. Is that all done? We dry on the Dissidia topic for now then?
Yeah, so it seems.
Alright then, this has been FRACKiT WolfZero, episode 3. And it's goodbye from me.
And FRACKiT from me.